When the sun rose over the skyline of Oak Ridge City, the world was already whispering about a downfall no one had seen coming. Just yesterday, Adrian Hale had stood at the top, one of the youngest billionaires in the country, a man whose name opened doors and whose presence commanded awe. He owned Hale Dynamics, a flourishing tech empire built on artificial intelligence systems that powered major corporations around the world. But this morning, everything changed. Overnight, a cyberattack had breached the company's core servers. Sensitive data was leaked, stock prices plummeted, and investors pulled out like scared children abandoning a sinking ship. Adrian's legal team told him that he could face charges for negligence. His board suggested stepping down. By dawn, his fortune had evaporated. His empire was collapsing. Adrian stood in his office, spacious, glass-walled, minimalist, the same room where he had once felt invincible. Now it echoed with silence. Boxes were scattered around, filled with files he had to take home. Outside the room, employees whispered, pretending not to stare at the man who used to walk with a confidence that bordered on arrogance. He rubbed the bridge of his nose, trying to stay calm, though inside, he felt hollow. How could everything he built with years of sacrifice be destroyed in a single night? Lost in thought, he didn't notice the light footsteps behind him. "Sir, you forgot this." The soft, hesitant voice broke the heavy stillness. Adrian turned to see Samuel, the building's night janitor, holding a small object wrapped in a cloth. Samuel was an older man, with fading white hair, tired eyes, and a uniform that always seemed slightly too big for his thin frame. Adrian blinked. Forgot what? Samuel stepped forward and handed him the cloth bundle. Adrian opened it slowly, expecting maybe a pen or some office accessory he dropped. But inside was something he had not seen in years, a simple, worn-out leather notebook. Dark brown, scratchy, with a broken corner. His breath caught. "This, where did you find it?" Adrian whispered. "In the corner behind your desk," Samuel said. "Looked like it fell. I thought you might want it." Want it? It was his childhood notebook, the one he had filled with ideas, dreams, sketches of inventions he wanted to create someday. His mother had gifted it to him before she passed away. He had kept it for years but assumed he had lost it during one of the office relocations. He thought it was gone forever. "You kept this?" Adrian asked, voice wavering. "It wasn't mine to keep. Just thought it mattered," Samuel said simply. Adrian held the notebook to his chest. For a moment, he forgot about his fallen empire, the headlines, the betrayal of the people he trusted. All he felt was the warmth of a memory, his mother's soft voice encouraging him to dream big. He sank into his chair. "Why does life do this?" he muttered. "One day you're on top, the next," he couldn't bring himself to finish the sentence. Samuel looked at him gently. "Sir, life doesn't ask us before giving or taking. It just moves. But you're still breathing, aren't you? That means the story isn't over." Adrian almost laughed, a painful, broken sound. "Easy for you to say. I've lost everything." "No, sir," Samuel replied quietly. "You lost money. Big difference." Adrian stared at him. "Money built my life." Samuel shook his head. "No, you built your life. Money came after." The words lingered in the air, piercing the walls Adrian had wrapped around himself. "Sit," Samuel said softly. Adrian hesitated. He had never been told to sit by an employee, especially not someone like a janitor. But for the first time, he didn't feel powerful enough to refuse. He sat. Samuel pulled up a chair across from him, his movements slow and deliberate. "I've worked in this building for 18 years. I've seen CEOs come and go. Some grew their companies, some lost them. But you're still young. You've got time to rebuild." Adrian swallowed. "I don't know where to start." "Well," Samuel said, pointing at the notebook, "maybe where you started the first time." Adrian looked down at the leather cover. His childhood handwriting peeked through the edges of the pages. Rough sketches, small scribbles, dreams he had forgotten in the noise of ambition. "It's funny," Adrian said bitterly. "I spent years trying to become someone powerful, rich, important. But right now, I feel like a nobody." "You are the same person who once dreamed without limits," Samuel said. "Before the world told you what you should be. Before the pressure. Before the expectations." Adrian's chest tightened. He opened the notebook and flipped through the pages. His teenage self had written about building an AI system to help the disabled. A concept for a financial tool for low-income families. A plan for a shelter app that connected volunteers to those in need. He realized something. None of those ideas were about fame or money. They were about helping. He had forgotten. Success had changed him. He had built a massive company, but somewhere along the way, he had abandoned the original purpose that drove him. Tears pricked his eyes, but he blinked them away. I don't know why you're helping me, he said quietly. Samuel smiled faintly. Because once, someone helped me too. Adrian looked up, surprised. Samuel continued, I used to have a small business, years ago. Nothing huge, but a fire destroyed it. I lost everything. Took me months to recover, years to accept it. But one person, a stranger, told me something I never forgot. When you lose everything, you get a chance to rebuild without mistakes. That sounds wise, Adrian murmured. He was just a bus driver, Samuel chuckled. But wise indeed. A silence settled between them, calm, almost comforting. For the first time in hours, Adrian's breathing steadied. His mind was still bruised, but no longer collapsing. You know, Samuel said slowly, everybody calls you a genius. Maybe they're right, but even the smartest person needs a reminder of why they began. Adrian nodded. His eyes drifted across the empty office, the desk, the awards, the plaques. Everything meaningless now, but the notebook felt alive in his hands. Suddenly, he felt something inside him shift. Resolve. Samuel, he said firmly, what if I told you I want to rebuild? Not the old company. Something new. Something real. I'd say that's the first good idea you've had today, Samuel replied. Adrian stood up. The weight in his chest remained, but it no longer suffocated him. Will you stay for a minute? I think I need help sorting this mess. Samuel smiled. Of course, sir. They worked together silently, boxing files, clearing the desk. It felt strange. Adrian, the billionaire who once never touched his own coffee cup, now packing his things alongside a janitor. But it also felt grounding. Human. After a while, Samuel asked, what are you going to do next? Adrian paused. I'm going to disappear for a week. Think, reflect, find my purpose again, and when I come back, I'll start fresh. That sounds right, Samuel said. Adrian picked up the notebook again. Thank you for this. You didn't have to return it. Samuel's eyes softened. Sometimes the smallest thing becomes the light someone needs. I just handed it over. You're the one who needed to remember. As the sun climbed higher, Adrian walked out of the building with his boxes. Reporters waited outside, cameras flashing, yelling questions about his downfall. For the first time, he didn't feel ashamed. He didn't rush or hide. He simply moved forward, because Samuel was right. His story wasn't over. It was just beginning again.